Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've ever felt like literally pulling your hair out trying to master English grammar, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to completely change the way you look at one of the most notoriously frustrating parts of the entire English language. We're talking about a true game changer, a revolutionary method to unlock and conquer phrasal verbs once and for all. So, go ahead and forget everything you thought you knew about memorizing endless vocabulary lists, because what we're diving into today is going to shift your perspective entirely.
But before we get to the solution, we have to look at the root of the problem. Why are phrasal verbs so incredibly hard to learn? Well, if you've studied English for any amount of time, you already know the pain, right? You're faced with thousands upon thousands of these seemingly random, illogical combinations of words. You learn a verb, and then suddenly someone slaps this tiny little word onto the end of it, and the entire meaning of the sentence completely flips. It feels like a chaotic puzzle where the pieces just keep changing shapes, leaving language learners totally frustrated, exhausted, and stuck relying on brute force memorization. But what if it isn't actually chaotic at all?
To understand the secret, we first need to quickly ground ourselves. A phrasal verb is simply a base verb combined with a preposition. You know, those little directional words like up, down, on, off, or out. That's the structural foundation. Now, most learners spent literally all their time staring at the first part of that equation, the verb. They think the verb is the absolute star of the show. But the secret we're about to reveal flips that assumption entirely on its head.
Let's look at the old way, memorizing thousands of random verb combinations, versus the new way, understanding the core feeling of the preposition. The old way, that painful traditional way, is staring at a textbook and trying to rote memorize thousands of random combos. It is exhausting. But the new way, which is a breakthrough method popularized by language experts like Kevin Buckley and highlighted by Justin Sung, is brilliantly simple. Stop staring at the verb. Actually shift all of your focus purely to the preposition. The secret here is that these prepositions have core meanings, a central feeling or visual concept that never really goes away, no matter what verb you attach them to.
All right, let's get into the masterclass. We are decoding the word off.
Meaning 1. Detach, separate, or remove. At its absolute fundamental core, off means physical disconnection. Think about it. Before this word became abstract, before it was ever used in everyday slang, it was a purely physical description of two things that were once connected, suddenly becoming separated. This right here is the seed from which every single other meaning of the word grows.
Picture a heavy suitcase where the handle suddenly breaks off. Or imagine a crisp autumn day where a leaf falls off a tree. Or maybe a sudden gust of wind where a hat blows off someone's head. Or even just taking a pen and crossing a name off a list. Do you see that physical action happening in your mind? In every single one of these scenarios, an item is physically breaking away from a larger object. The words break, fall, and blow just tell you how the action happened. But off? Well, off is doing all the heavy lifting to tell you what happened. It's detachment. And from that physical separation, we naturally build to meaning number 2, leave or move away. Now, if you're using the old method of learning, you might be thinking, well, leaving has absolutely nothing to do with a leaf detaching from a tree. But think about the logic. This second meaning isn't random at all. It logically and seamlessly extends from the very first one. Because physically speaking, when something detaches from its source, what happens next? It naturally moves away from it.
Think of a car driving off, a person walking off, or a sailboat sailing off. You can easily visualize that core idea of detachment smoothly transforming into a sense of departure. The car was parked here, and now it's detached from this location and is moving away. The sailboat was docked, it detached from the dock, and now it's sailing away. The preposition off is just painting a picture of departure from a specific point.
This perfectly illustrates the evolutionary journey of a word. Step 1, detach, like a bag handle snapping. Step 2, move away, like someone walking off into the distance. Step 3, disengage, like getting off work. It takes a leap into the abstract here, but it proves that the evolution of the word off is an incredibly logical, step-by-step journey. It's not some random dictionary list that was designed to torture you.
That brings us fully into meaning number 3. Stop, deactivate, or disengage. We're now taking that original physical concept of separation and applying it to abstract concepts and commands. These are phrases that you probably use in your daily life without even thinking about the underlying logic. But trust me, once you see the connection, it is completely impossible to unsee it.
You tell someone to turn off the light or turn off the TV. Or maybe you say, I finally get off work at 5 p.m. Ending your workday is simply an abstract way of detaching yourself from your professional responsibilities. Flipping a light switch, you are literally separating the electrical circuit from its power source. It is the exact same core feeling as the leaf falling from the tree. It's just applied to electricity or your daily schedule.
Now, what's really fascinating is how we handle the outliers. What about when off means to explode or sound loudly? Think about the phrase to set off an alarm or a firework going off. While it kind of seems to break the pattern at first glance, it still carries that energetic burst, doesn't it? It's a sudden, violent separation from silence or a resting state. It's just a fantastic example of how even the most surprising meanings of a preposition carry a specific, energetic flavor that you can learn to feel.
Finally, meaning for, simply meaning from a source. For example, taking a book off the shelf. This brings our journey completely full circle. It loops right back to the original, primal idea of separating something from its origin point. No matter how abstract the English language gets, it always leaves these little logical breadcrumbs back to the source.
So, this builds the interconnected foundation, a completely new way to learn.
By grasping the general feeling of these prepositions, you stop memorizing and you start visualizing. The entire language transforms from a frustrating test of memory into a totally intuitive system. Which leads us to our final question for you. Which preposition will you decode next? Will you tackle up, down, out? Now that you have this visual framework, I highly encourage you to apply it to the very next English phrase you hear today. Listen for the preposition, picture the physical action, and watch as the meaning becomes instantly clear. You literally have a new linguistic superpower now, so it's time to test it out. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we will see you next time as we continue to decode the fascinating world around us.